Welcome to Monday service. My name is Yvonne, and I'm a wretched sinner. Today we're reading Matthew chapter 7 out of the New International Version of the Bible. This is about judging others. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be opened. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone, or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit you will recognize them. Not everyone who says to me, "Lord, Lord," will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, "Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles?" Then I will tell them plainly, "I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers." Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house, and it fell with a great crash. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, because he taught as one who had authority and not as their teachers of the law. And that concludes the Sermon on the Mount. So this is the greatest sermon ever given. It's given to us by Jesus, the master teacher. And there's so much to get into here. I'm just going to start with the beginning of it. Not judging others. How can you judge somebody if you make the same mistake? Or even, any mistake? How can you judge anyone if you're not perfect? For if we judge others, a lot of the time when we judge, we do it from our own hearts, not for their good, but because we want to, exalt ourselves. We want to make ourselves seem greater than them. We want to distinguish ourselves apart from them, to say, I'm better than you, to say, you're doing something wrong, when in fact, we commit the same errors. But Jesus tells us, you hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, then you can see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. The mistake we have is so much greater than the ones others have. So to correct them, first we have to correct ourselves. Jesus tells us that if you ask, it'll be given to you. When you seek, you will find. When you knock, the door will be open to you. Everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be open to them. So keep fighting the good fight. Keep searching for the truth. That's what Jesus is telling us. Keep searching for the truth. Don't stop. Continue searching. Continue seeking. Continue knocking on the door. Continue looking for the truth, because you will find it. He tells us, and this is so funny to me, everybody knows how to give a good gift to their children. And he says after this, even though you are evil, even though you're evil, you know how to give good gifts to your children. Jesus is, he's amazing. Before anything is revealed in this gospel, he says, even though you're evil, you know how to give good gifts to your children. And he doesn't mean it in a way that, like, oh, everyone's wicked and evil and only wants bad. He says, though you're evil, you're a sinner. Though you make mistakes and you're not perfect, though you're evil, you still know how to give good gifts to your own children, right? You don't abuse your own children. So how much more will your Father who's in heaven reward you when you ask him something? When you ask God for a gift, won't he much more likely give it to you? Sometimes I ask my parents for stuff and they say no, right? Sometimes they say yes. And sometimes they go even further than what I wanted. Same thing with God. Sometimes we ask things from him. He says no. We're to keep seeking. Sometimes we ask things of him. He says yes. Sometimes, just like Jesus says, we ask things of him, and even more so, he gives them to us. And Jesus tells us, so in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. This sums up the law and the prophets. This is the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And he even tells us this sums up the law and the prophets. This is the whole point of the book, right? This is the whole point. The law and the prophets, this is Moses and all the prophets that came after him. This is the whole story of the Bible. The whole story of the Old Testament is summed up in this simple line here. Do to others what you would have them do to you. Treat others the way you want to be treated. This is where we get the golden rule. It's from Jesus. He sums it up. Before him, we didn't have this. He tells us the whole point of this is just to do to others as you would have them do to you. And that's beautiful. He tells us, go through the narrow gate. What is a narrow gate? A narrow gate is, you have to squeeze through it. It's not as easy to enter through. He says the wide gate is broad, many enter it, but the road leads to destruction. The narrow gate is small, and few people find it. Those who seek it, they will find it, but few people find it, and it leads to life. Jesus tells us to watch out for false prophets, people who put themselves out to be good, right? They wear the clothes of a sheep. They wear clothing of innocence, but inside they're ferocious wolves. But he tells us, how can we recognize them? You recognize a tree by its fruit. So if they bear good fruit, if they're good, right, you could recognize this is a good person. This is a good person. I could eat of these fruit. But if they're bad, if they truly are wolf in sheep's clothing, then they're going to leave a trail of carnage behind them. Everywhere they go, it's going to be like people say, you know what, I stay away from them. You know what, don't listen to them. They lied to me. They did this. Rumors spread. And I'm not saying rumors are always true. I'm saying that when you have a tree, you could recognize it by its fruit. And Jesus tells us, Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit you will recognize them. So be a good tree, bear good fruit. If you don't bear good fruit, you'll be cut down, just as every bad tree is. It's cut down. Just as the wolves in sheep's clothing will be cut down in their time. Jesus tells us, not everyone who even says to him, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of his Father who is in heaven. Many will say to him, did we not prophesy in your name, drive out demons in your name, perform many miracles in your name? But he'll say, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. And this is a really interesting situation because people who are entering into the kingdom of heaven, they're confronted by Jesus, right? He's saying, I'm going to be there. Not everyone who shows up is going to belong there. Not everyone who's going to show up there is going to have a place there. I'm not going to recognize all these people. They don't do the will of God. Though they say one thing, they say, did we not prophesy in your name? The fruit they bear, it wasn't good. Maybe they lied in their prophecy. Maybe it came from their own heart and not from God. They say, did we not drive out demons in your name? Did they really? Maybe they were demons themselves. Many will say, did we not perform miracles in your name? But he'll tell them, I never knew you. Did we not do it? When in reality, did God not do that? Did God not do all these good things? Does God not do good? Do we really do good? Though we're evil, do we do good? And that's one question we all have to ask ourselves is, am I doing it for myself? Am I doing it for the good of others? Am I doing it because this is how I would want someone else to treat me? Or is it because I want to feel good? Is it because of me? Is it all about me? Or is it about somebody else? Is it about God? Is it about something else? Or is it all about me? And at the end of this chapter, Jesus tells us that everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And we haven't seen this yet in this Monday service, but this analogy of a rock, it's very common throughout the Bible. The analogy of a foundation, a firm foundation, a rock. This is very prevalent in that you can lean on this, you can rely on it. Everyone who does the words of Jesus, who listens to these words and puts them into practice is wise because his words are true. And Jesus puts himself in a very interesting position here because he basically, even at this point, is already proclaiming himself to be God. He says, anyone who hears the words of mine and puts them into practice, my words, if you hear what I say and you put them into practice, you're going to be a wise man. And even though you're going to go through a storm, when the storm ends, you're going to still stand. Your house is going to be there. He says, whoever doesn't listen to my words, whoever doesn't put them into practice, is like the fool who built a house on the sand, and the storm came and it blew on the house and it rained down and the waves came and it beat against the house and it fell with a great crash. So be wise. Listen to the words of Jesus. Listen to what he has to say. Apply these words in your life, because we see when Jesus finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, because he taught as one who had authority and not as their teachers of the law. And this verse has stuck with me for a long time, because he taught as one who had authority. He did this because he did have authority. Jesus spoke these things that were true, and that's where his authority came from. It's the truth. He did not speak a lie. He never spoke a lie. He only spoke the truth. And that's the beauty of Jesus, is that he is the truth. The things he spoke were true. Always, he never failed. He never erred in his ways. He was always honest. He was always good. He pointed out the flaws of others. And he did so from a right position, where you first remove the speck or actually the plank from your own eye, so that you could correct that little piece of sawdust in someone else's eye, that little error that other people have, causing them to fault, causing them to sin. It's just a little speck of dust in their eye. It's just a little speck that's not letting them see the truth. But when we correct ourselves first and we acknowledge, you know what, I am a sinner, you know what, I am at fault, you know what, I have made mistakes, and we can actually listen to this person and hear them and find out, where is that speck? How can I help this person? Because I'm not perfect either. I'm not perfect. How can I help them? When we can do that, that's how we can help somebody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I do these Monday services because Jesus saved my life. He came into my life in a very profound way. I was a drug addict. I was an alcoholic. I had self-destructive, suicidal tendencies. And in fact, I tried to take my life 3 times, and Jesus saved me. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm very new to this. I've only been walking with Christ for, I'll say, a couple months. I was baptized literally 4 months ago, and I just want to spread the word of God, because this word right here, the Bible, it changed me. Specifically the Gospels, the Gospel of Matthew, the Gospel of John and Luke and Mark, they all were very profound, and I've been reading the Bible ever since, and it's been amazing. It's been completely life-changing. Jesus has changed my life, and in his words, the one thing I could say is he tells the truth. He absolutely tells the truth in all that he says and all that he does, and he is a wise man. And I'd love to continue this series. I'd love to continue sharing the word. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment if you'd like. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.